Hey Sainers, welcome to the review. Much better than last week. A good win in the end. I think it was 29 points, 93 to 122 after just such an amazing first quarter, 9 goals to 3, 8 goals unanswered after they kicked through the first 4. And then the second and third quarters were just, pretty scary, I suppose, especially that third quarter, which we'll get into. And then obviously we finished really well. Again, apologies, not a live review, as much as I would have loved to do one, but we got to go into the rooms again, got to do some fun videos. We got to chat to 3 Jacks, Jack Higgins, Jack Billings, and we got to chat to Jack Steele, the captain, after the win. So those videos will come out hopefully in the next couple of hours, so stay tuned for that. But my thoughts on the game, that first quarter was just relentless. The first 5 minutes, probably 6 minutes, it was, a bit of helter-skelter end to end, and Hawthorn just capitalised on their chances really well. But I thought our energy, the way we were moving the ball was just so much better than we've seen in so long. That overlap, it was Sinks and Naz in particular. That first quarter, I think he had 11 or something. Brad Crouch, 11, and was it 2 goals in the first quarter? Like, it was ridiculous. Like, that's the Saints that we love, and that's the Saints that we've been dying out for about 10 weeks now. And to see us put on 9 goals in the first was just outstanding. But you kind of thought that, Hawthorn, regardless of the scoreboard, always going to play the same way. They're always going to play that high handball, high risk, fast ball movement, rebound football. And they did. And to their credit, they kept coming at us. And even, that third quarter, they got within sort of that 18-point mark. I was a little bit worried that if they kick the first goal or the fourth, you don't know what's going to happen, because we saw it that last time we played them, we were 20 points up in the last and things changed. But in this game, so many things that were a problem in that game weren't a problem in this game. And obviously the number one thing that we're going to mention is Sicily and how we handled that, and how Cooper Sharman played out of his skin to really make someone like James Sicily accountable, to give him something to worry about. And on more than one occasion, he got himself in a great position, led at the football, took some great marks, couple of near speckies, kicked a couple of goals, I think. He could have kicked more. He was at the full of the ball in the forward 50 so often in that first and second quarter. He could have kicked a couple more, but he just constantly harassed Sicily and played off him when he needed to. And that's the thing when you play on someone like James Sicily. You don't want to get caught up in just tagging him out of the game and just, going into one-on-ones and just punching the ball. When there's an opportunity to lead at the football and make him run after you, you go for it. And he did that. So it was such a nice change that tactically we were just so switched on. Caminiti was great. The Essendon defenders, the Hawthorn defenders were trying to get into him for a lot of the game, and nerves got the better of him a few times, but also Hawthorn, they gave away a few silly mistakes as well. So, the standout out of the middle, Brad Crouch, excellent. Naz down back was just clinical. Wilkie was great. I thought Stocker's ball use and Windy breaking the lines a few times and going for those risky kicks and hitting them opened up the game completely. And that's the thing, is like, you look at the game, and in other games you probably think, okay, those kicks are going to similar positions, but we had drive behind them. We had purpose with every sort of possession that we had. Last week, if you watch the game, you think every possession looks, we're second guessing it, we're third guessing it, we're not sure what we're doing it. It's kind of made up on the spot. But tonight, it really felt like for, I'd say 60 to 70% of the game, barring patches of the second and third quarter, every possession was really methodical. We knew when to pull the trigger and go fast. And then it was at times where we knew Hawthorn were coming, where we needed to play a bit more tempo, play a bit more smart, slow the tempo down, possession footy, and then, kind of reassess how to approach the game. Dan Butler, that's the perfect roving game, perfect small forward game, 4 goals straight. Jack Higgins was great. The amount of times that guy was on a lead and we hit him up was excellent. For a small to do that, tip my hat to Jack Higgins. He kicked, I think, 2 goals 4, so he could have had a big day. But the good thing is he's creating those opportunities. Mason Wood was great early on, on fire early on. Ronnie Burns did what he needed to do. Rowan Marshall battled hard. Mitch Owens went into the middle, I think, in the fourth and completely, dominated there. And I thought that just gave us another lever to pull. And that really saw us see out the game the way that we started the game, which I think is the most pleasing thing. Obviously, Hawthorn kicked a few goals late, but we could have buckled over in that fourth term, but we really played it out and got to that sort of unassailable lead that made things a bit more comfortable with about 10 minutes to go. So last week we got away with one. It was nervous and we were a bit lucky. Tonight, I really thought, we made our own luck tonight. Even just in the first quarter, a few things probably went our way. Like even Naz's goal, kicking it long, missing the pack, and then it dribbles in. That doesn't happen if Naz doesn't get the ball and get the 1-2 and go and try and hit a target. It just doesn't happen. And we've not seen that for so long. So do I say that we've turned the corner? No. Do I think that, we've got a bit of momentum going into a big stretch of games now against Carlton, Richmond and Geelong? I say yes. If we bring this next week, we're in the game. Carlton are flying. Richmond were doing pretty well against Melbourne when I last checked, and obviously Geelong are Geelong. Regardless of how their form goes, under the roof, they're dangerous anywhere. So we needed to get a performance in like this, and I think the most, pleasing thing is we kicked 19 goals, 8, I think. We kicked straight, we kicked a high score. It could have been higher after the first term, but like I said, Hawthorn really did clamp us down a little bit and try to make the game on their terms, but it was great to see that in that fourth term we were able to reaffirm ourselves in the game, arrest that sort of momentum back and get a really important win. We're fifth now. There's 4 games to go. Out of the 4 games, we need to win probably 2, and we play finals. That's the equation. So you can analyse this game until the cows come home, but at the end of the day, I think we went out. It was good to have purpose, and the cheer squad. For all of you that joined us, it was amazing. It was so loud. Apparently on TV, you could hear it pretty clearly. So hopefully that had a bit of a factor in the boys' performance in that first term. It was very nice to sit in the cheer squad and see 9 goals just get kicked so quickly. And we've got it in us. That's the thing. Hawthorn are a team that have beaten some pretty good teams this year. They've beaten us. They've beaten Brisbane. They should have beaten Richmond last week. They're one of those teams that they've got nothing to lose, and they're the worst teams to play. They're scary to play because they just will go full on for 4 quarters, and if they lose, they lose. But if they win, it's danger signs. But we got the chocolates. Zach Jones, it looked like a bit of a bad injury, so really sad to see that. He was in the rooms in crutches. I guess we'll hear from the club tomorrow and the next day on the full diagnosis, I suppose, and time frame for him. But it was just good to see a full team effort. Even when Hawthorn were on top, I still thought we did the basics right. We really hustled. We harassed. Our tackling was good. And I think our breakaway speed out of the middle and around packs, it just felt a lot quicker this week than it did in other weeks. And Gresham, I'll give him credit because we have been a bit of a critic of him this year. He was a sub. He came on early for Zach Jones, and I thought he put in a bit of a good stand. There was a few kicks there, but he wasn't the only one. And he kicked an important goal, I think, and probably handballed Jack Higgins, thinking that's what he should do. Higgins missed the goal, but you can see that Gresh had that approach of team first, and that's a really good sign. So not an absolutely perfect performance, Saners, but it's much closer to what we want to see, isn't it? I think we can all agree that first term and that last term, great to watch. We managed the game when Hawthorn got close. I'm really proud that anytime they got within that 2 to 3 goal mark, we got that goal back. We didn't put our heads down. We just kept at it until the floodgates opened midway through the 4th, and we move away with a 29-point win and back in 5th position with 4 games to go. So I'll leave it there, Saners. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment your thoughts. I'd love reading them and responding to them. So let me know what you're thinking. Who was your player of the match? I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. All the boys in the rooms had the same bloke, so I'm curious to see if the comments here replicate that. And I'll be back for plenty of content tomorrow. Saints TV Weekly, Saints TV Podcast, Saints TV Live, I think will be tomorrow night, a new time for the next couple of weeks. And obviously the Mosh interviews will be out hopefully later tonight with Jack Billings, Jack Higgins, that was funny, and the captain Jack Steele. So thanks, Saners. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the win. And as always, go you mighty Saners. See you guys.